How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. It's been a while. I've been busy for the last few weeks, which is why I haven't uploaded any new content, but now I'm back. So today I want to talk about Firefly. Now, first of all, what is Firefly? Now, I'm sure many of you know this, but in case you don't, Firefly is a very short-lived, but very beloved TV series that debuted back in 2002, and it was created by Joss Whedon, and it was essentially a space western. And when I say it was a space western, I don't mean it was kind of inspired by westerns like, say, the early Star Trek and Star Wars were, which had western elements in them. No, Firefly was literally a space western. It was set in the future, but there were literally Stetsons, there were six-shooters, there were people speaking like they were in cowboy movies and stuff like that. And it was about this crew led by Nathan Fillion's Mal Reynolds, and they were a bunch of misfits who traveled around the universe, getting into trouble, just trying to make ends meet and getting into adventures along the way. And it's a very simple show, really, when you strip down all the science fiction elements. They were basically human interest stories. And whether you like westerns or whether you like science fiction, it had something for everybody. It had action, it had humor, it had romance. It was fantastic. And I can't remember a single bad episode of it. Really, if you haven't seen Firefly, just go watch it. And the show was very short-lived. It only lasted 14 episodes because it was cancelled for low ratings, and there's been endless debate about this, about why this happened, how the studio messed it up, how the episodes were shown out of order, how it wasn't given a chance to breathe, it wasn't given a chance to grow its audience, it was put on at a bad time, whatever. But then something strange happened. It was released on DVD in Joss Whedon's correct format. In the original run of the show, they showed the pilot last. I mean, who shows a pilot first for a TV series? That's crazy. But yeah, that was literally the last thing that was broadcast. But in the DVD set, all the episodes were shown in the correct order that Joss Whedon intended. And it became a huge seller. It built up a huge fan base, which resulted in the movie Serenity being released in 2005, which was a big reunion, which came relatively soon after the end of the series. It was only 3 years after the end of the series. And there was a lot of hype at the time about Serenity being the launching pad for a new series of movies in the Firefly universe. But unfortunately, despite the fact that Serenity was a very good movie, it did not fare well financially. It was a box office failure. Still well received by fans, and still did well on physical and home media, but that was pretty much it for Firefly. And over the years, Firefly has maintained its cult status as a hugely popular show. Again, just 14 episodes and one movie. I've always personally thought, even though I love Firefly, I've always thought that that was a good thing. It's good to leave it there. But recently, hype has been built up for Firefly again, because Nathan Fillion has always been appreciated of the fans, despite the fact that he's gone on to great things like Castle and all these other TV shows that he's done. And all the casts have gone on to other great things too, like Marina Baccarin and Adam Baldwin and Jules State. But recently, Nathan Fillion has been going around to the surviving cast members because, unfortunately, Ron Glass, who played Shepherd Book, passed away some time ago. So here's an article from Parade.com. The campaign kicked off on February 23rd when Fillion posted a video with Gina Torres, who played Zoe on the show. Torres asks, "Does this mean it's time?" And Fillion replies, "It's time." Each subsequent video has stuck to that same stripped-down script. In the Sean Maher video, Fillion adds, "Some of you have guessed convention, podcast, or crossover. You are wrong." That ruled out 3 of the most obvious explanations in one shot. So really, what's this build up to? Now, at the time of this recording, on Sunday, March the 8th, they've announced that there's going to be a major announcement about Firefly on March 15th. And a lot of people have been speculating, does this mean a Firefly reboot is coming? And I have mixed feelings on this because I would have to say that it's highly unlikely. There are some people who are saying that it's just a reunion convention or some kind of podcast, because I think Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk, who played Wash on Firefly, have launched their own podcast. And a lot of people have still been speculating, does this mean that there's going to be a reboot, a reunion movie, or a reunion TV series? But I would have to say that's very unlikely. And as a fan of Firefly, even though I'm not a die-hard fan, I really do enjoy the show and the movie, but I would prefer that they not be a reboot. Firefly is great because it never got a chance to get bad. It only had 14 episodes, and they're all good. And if the show had ended there, it would still be a cult favourite. But the fact that Serenity came out a few years later, which really condensed the storyline that Joss Whedon had come up for the show, because he did have a long-term plan of the show. And you can tell that even though it's a good movie, that he condensed a lot of storylines he had planned. And as a farewell to the show, it was pretty good. Now, I personally only saw the movie first, and I went back to the TV series later. But I can only imagine for fans how satisfying it was to get that kind of closure. Now, it left the door open for further adventures, but since the movie was technically a box office failure, it didn't lead to that. And I think it's best to leave it there. You know what I mean? Because look at it this way, and this is a strange comparison, but sometimes things need to be left alone because they never had a chance to get bad. As an example, Fawlty Towers. Now, in case any of you don't know what Fawlty Towers is an incredible British sitcom from the early 70s. It only had 2 seasons, 12 episodes, and it's literally the best comedy ever made. To this day, it's considered a classic. And I think part of the reason of that is because it never got a chance to get bad. It was just 2 seasons, and John Cleese, the lead and writer of the show, said, that's it. He moved on to other things. And to this day, Fawlty Towers is regarded as a classic. I think part of the reason for that is that it didn't go on and on until it got stale, like certain sitcoms did. And I think the same is for Firefly. Firefly had 1 great half season and a very satisfying movie to wrap the whole thing up. But I don't want a reboot. I don't want a reunion, for a few reasons. For one thing, I think it's best to leave it as it is. Look at Indiana Jones. I would have been perfectly happy with the last Indiana Jones movie being The Last Crusade, when he rode off into the sunset with his dad. But unfortunately, we got episodes 4 and 5, and we all know what happened with those movies. And if a Firefly reboot does happen, it's going to be done with Disney. Disney, who now owns 20th Century Fox, owns Firefly. Do I need to say more? Disney ruined Star Wars, they ruined Indiana Jones, they ruined Marvel, they ruined everything that they get their hands on. And I think if Disney tried to reboot Firefly, it would be a disaster. The only conceivable way I can see Firefly being rebooted or being relaunched is with series creator Joss Whedon. And that, unfortunately, is very unlikely to happen because for those of you who don't know, Joss Whedon was pretty much cancelled for alleged on-set behaviour over the years on various movies and TV shows, and he's persona non grata in Hollywood now. And I've got a funny feeling that the cast would not do a reunion movie or TV show without him. And I don't think Disney are going to hire him back. So if Firefly was going to be rebooted, it would be done with a different creative team. And that usually means disaster. I mean, look at Daredevil. Daredevil had a fantastic 3-season run on Netflix under Stephen Knight. But the reimagining of the show, or the continuation of the show on Disney Plus recently, Daredevil Born Again, has been disappointing to say the least. Because the same creative team that worked on the original Daredevil show did not return. The actors did, but the actors can only do so much with the material they're given. And even if they get the entire existing Firefly cast to return, what would really be the point? I think Firefly is best left alone, because that movie did wrap things up. And I think it was very satisfying as a fan, because again, I came to the show watching the movie first, which I liked, but then I went back and watched the TV series, which I loved, and I got a lot more out of the movie when I watched it again. But I think it's best to leave it there. And I do enjoy the actors, I do love the characters, and a certain part of me would love to see them again, but I think it's best left as it is. Now, if this announcement on March 15 turns out to be a podcast, a big convention, that's great, but I think the fans need to keep their expectations in check and ask themselves, do we really need a continuation? Do we really need a reboot? I don't think so. But I'll definitely discuss this news more when this announcement is dropped. But anyway, what do you think? Do you think Firefly should be rebooted? Do you think it needs a continuation? Or do you think it's fine the way it is with Serenity, wrapping the whole show up? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Share this video out there, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.